Alright, it's time to have a proper discussion on what actually is happening with this ban list. Hi, if you guys don't know, today Sleeve Chief is releasing this awesome Naruto box, along with a couple other things. If you use discount code MCOL40, you are going to save 15% on their website across everything that they have. So make sure you take advantage of that. It's for 24 hours only. Remember, discount code MCOL40 and get the chance to pick up some of these awesome products today. I'll be the 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. The first thing we need to talk about here is I've already gotten 2 messages from Despia players going, ha ha, we're the best deck in the room now. Well, first of all, kinda, sorta. I think what Despia players are going to have a very hard time understanding, and amazingly, a lot of the Despia community I have already read today actually kind of agrees. The deck lost its free auto win button. Now, I think a lot of people underestimate the auto win chicken nugget. Oh, I just won this matchup. And I mean, going first, setting up expulsion lock against your opponent, that was an incredibly easy task. And it's gone now. But here's the interesting thing about this now. Despia now has become, I know, right? Oh, man, he's going to say it, a skill-based deck. Now, that's very interesting because it's been a lot of the general consensus across the board now is, oh, no, I can't actually, get the free wins. I have to actually work for them. And I think that's what we're going to be seeing. I think we're going to also see a rotation in hand traps in the format. You bet your butt now that Gamma is somewhere off in the distance crying at 1. That's a story for another day. I've already seen some very interesting ideas being tossed around for that one. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes overall. But Despia players, congratulations. Losing Expulsion wasn't the worst of the world. I mean, you have the new dragon that kind of does essentially the same thing. It's just you're going to have to work for it a little bit more. You're more susceptible to the hand traps. And I think that is actually kind of fair at this point in time. Now, I've been getting so many comments like, oh, Robbie just hates Despia. No, I just want people to realize, like, a free auto win button is still a free auto win button. Now, yesterday, we actually did a small 16-man tournament with the quickness after the list released. We wanted to kind of see where, things felt like they settled at this point. I mean, in the truest fashion of the world, raw data is always going to be, very, very interesting to see. And what we kind of got out of this was, one Arise Heart for Kashtira it's not good. Oh no, it's awful, actually. In the mirror match now, if your opponent drops a unicorn on you and you do anything to trigger that unicorn, they're ripping your Arise Heart out of your extra deck. It now made the mirror match, how do you say, intolerable. And it's kind of what we were seeing yesterday, as we were kind of going through the tournament results here and kind of seeing that, like, Kashtira, Unicorn, Fenrir are still fantastic cards. Actually, they're some of the best Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I have seen in a very long time, but, you lost the free zone locking that you could really get. A Rise Heart in your hand doesn't exactly... You got to be very careful with your extension combo lines and a lot of the other things that you could do, as was, we'll upload some replays from that tournament. You guys can kind of take a little bit of an idea or have a little bit of a gander here as to what was going on during the course of those events. And I think that'll be a very good showcase of things as well. But a lot of people that participated in that tournament definitely mentioned that they feel like Kashtira is going to be, one of the better decks in the room. And I can very honestly, potentially, see that. So what else did we kind of get out of the tournament? Rika Sun Avalon. Oh boy. So Rika is always one of those decks that I feel like you have to be slightly more skilled to play. And I'm not taking anything away from people, but I will be honest with you. I hear a lot of people look at the combo lines, and they're very intimidated by how some of it kind of overtakes itself. Watching that deck play yesterday was kind of cool. The ability to, attribute your opponent's stuff, the ability to take advantage of anything that the opponent would essentially set up. I mean, the field spell is by far the best thing. And also now that Walking Talking Macro Cosmo Man isn't running around as much anymore, we've kind of freed up this deck to enter back into the format. Also, call it what it is, but, a full Sun Avalon board is really, really scary. Those vanilla monsters that toggle up and then, set up a Balancer and some of those other things, they're pretty good. The only thing you've still got to worry about is, in terms of your Kashtira matchup, if there's big ol' angry Fenrir staring at you and, they toggle the removal correctly, it'll be pretty good. I also did kind of notice that Rika now kind of feels like it can kind of outpace certain parts of the meta. So I think that's kind of interesting to really give some consideration for, Rika not having to deal with the Rise Heart interruptions means that, if they stick their monster and they don't get hand trapped, they're kind of off to the races at that point in time. So that's something incredibly worth noting is we're probably going to go through a little bit of a revolution, but I'm only saying this because, I watched the deck perform yesterday through the tournament, and it was pretty effing good. Now, we did have one Sky Striker player in our tournament, and before the tournament, all I got was, Robbie, this deck is crazy. All right, trust me when I say this, Sky Striker is now the best deck. I was like, you got 2 engage, you got 3 multi-roll. It's not like you're a deck from 5 years ago or anything, right? It's not like constant power creep has come into the format and, pushed down. It's like, no, Robbie, no, trust me. This deck can actually do something. Well, you're going to get to watch a pretty high skill level game, actually, of Striker versus Despia. And, Striker can do some kind of cute things. I don't want to take that away from anything here, but, engage into searchability. Spellbook of Judgment shenanigans is kind of cool with the deck. We didn't see that for this, but there is some pretty cool little things that you can kind of see along the way in terms of lines for this. But if you're a Sky Striker player right now, you've got your pants pulled up all the way, and I mean all the way. You're giving yourself a wedgie at this point, just in pure excitement for this deck. You've called up your entire family and you've told them that this is the best deck in the room. You're finally going to get your top. Don't get your hopes up. That's what I'm getting out of this. I think the deck will be rogue for sure. Maybe, scrape into a couple of top cuts because I don't think a lot of people are going to be, really too ready for it. I mean, you've always got to, have anticipation for, something kind of coming out of left field here. But from what I'm kind of getting out of this so far, Striker, it's got some cute little toys, but that's just kind of it, actually. So do with that info what you will. Most of what I gather is just based on observations. These opinions will tend to change here. Now the question mark factor of things. Herald of Orange Light, Vernal Sith, Super Heavy Samurai, Madolche, the deck. The reason why I bring this up is I have a friend that's always in the lab with Madolche, and now that Herald of Orange Light kind of pushed itself back on the list here, my friend's like, Robbie, Madolche is kind of looking really good right now. We got an additional negate. You can say the same thing about Drytron, looking a lot more inviting now that we've kind of opened up the additional return back to another hand trap. But there's a lot of cool ideas. If you got people out here looking at Herald of Orange Light's return, and they're going, I can play some Madolche with my super heavy scales. I gotta kind of work for things a little bit more now for, in terms of the genericness of things here. But I think that there's a lot to really give some consideration for. Innovation in this format is going to be very, very interesting. Now, obviously, we're not going to talk about Runic at this stage. I'm going to go into an entire sub-discussion on that, because evidently I'm just one of the few people that seems to understand how that deck works. Two Fountain, thanks, Konami, thanks. thanks. That's all I gotta say. I can't wait for that. But innovation's gonna run high. I will dig more into this. I also want to give some of my thoughts on like top decks, but we'll have some commentary for people to kind of see what's going on, and I think that'll be a good thing. So please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.